Blended Kingdom Teens is all about the real-life struggles of living with divorced parents.
We give you honest conversation and practical tools for living out your identity and purpose as we chase after God together. Hey VKT, what is up? We're back with another episode for you guys. Episode 5, season 6. Today we're going to bring you an interesting topic. We're kind of talking about like when you feel invisible in your blended family, when you feel lonely in your blended family, and kind of what that looks like based on our experiences with that and how we've come to know, God's love and his truth in the midst of those moments. Read us that verse, Jerzi.
Okay, so today's verse is Psalm 34:18, and it says, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit."
Ain't that some truth?
That is so good. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. I think that sometimes I don't know that I need to be saved. And then I get into the presence of the Lord, or I find myself praying and I'm like, and I needed that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that whenever you're alone, sometimes it's really hard to identify that feeling sometimes. At least for me, sometimes I really have to go through a whole day, and then at the end of the day, I'm like, today I felt pretty lonely. I think that's why I was upset.
Yeah.
And then you pray about it and you're like, I just missed the Lord. And I just missed being in his presence.
Yeah.
I think I say that a lot in my prayers sometimes. I'm like, Lord, I miss you. I know you're close to me, but I think today I missed you and I didn't seek you enough. And I think that's such a real thing.
Yeah, I think that comes with also the busyness of our lives, just because we kind of just go and we do the things that seem necessary of us, and we go to school and do all the things and activities and stuff like that, and then we finally get a moment to breathe, and we're like, oh wow, I didn't realize how kind of lonely I felt, even though you're around people all day. And you said this a second ago, you can feel lonely in a room full of people.
Yeah.
And so,
including in a blended family.
Yeah.
There's so much that goes in with that. I have 8 siblings. And there's vacations or moments or holidays. Holidays, my goodness. All of us packed into my grandparents' trailer, and I mean, that place is loud, and it's really easy to feel alone. And I think it's all about you just not seeking community. And maybe you are seeking community and you still find yourself to be alone. And I think one of the things we're talking about in today's episode is seeking the right community, one that will uplift your spirit and the things that you believe, and just it won't cause you to be more lonely or realize or covet or want things that person wants, but it's an equal, and it's a relationship. And I think that that's a really big part of being alone, is realizing that you just need true relationship.
Yeah, I think going off of that, speaking into those deeper relationships, I know that you and I's relationship is kind of an example of, when I first came to college. For those of you who don't know, Jerzi and I were roommates our freshman year of college. 402. And so I realized that coming to college that, I was so ready to go, and I found myself at lonely points, but you would walk in the room and I'd be like, I didn't feel lonely anymore. And, just a whole day of doing what I felt was necessary. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't feel like I have somebody there with me walking life next to me. And then you'd walk in the room, I'm like, but she is. And so I think that was definitely a God wink of God putting you in my life for this specific time that he did, because he knew that I needed your story, and I needed you and the character who he has, the character that he has given you in my life. And so I think that there's a really big importance on when you're in these lonely seasons, or even if it's just a state of mind for a few hours or a day or whatever it is, I think that the people around you have a huge effect on that.
Yeah.
Because the people, we talked about this in a previous podcast, your circle matters.
Yeah.
Because those people are the people who are either going to make you to be who you're going to be, or they're going to break you.
Yeah.
And so finding these people who are going to uplift you constantly and want to make you pursue the Lord and like who will continually pray for you, who they will be in the word themselves, which makes you want to also be in the word. They are just so important, especially going through a blended, like being in a blended family and being in a situation where like we were in college when we experienced this, but having that in high school is huge because people are changing, they're figuring themselves out. They don't even know what they're doing next week. But like having a group that is like solid.
Like constant.
Yes. Yeah. Having a constant group, or maybe it's just one person that you can go to and be like, hey, like I'm feeling really lonely right now. I don't know why. Like we're by each other. we're in community with one another, but I'm feeling really lonely right now. And somebody who can be like, hey, maybe it's this. And they can uplift you, but uplift you in the Lord and not just, let's go get ice cream or whatever it is. And so I want to ask you, Jerzi, kind of pivoting to a different side of that loneliness is in your own family. You can also feel very lonely. Like you said, you're the youngest of 8, or you're not the youngest of 8, you're one of 8. And so like, was there like ever an instance where you're at a family function or whatever it might be, and you felt kind of overlooked and that caused a lot of the loneliness?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. There were plenty of moments that I felt overlooked. And I think half of that comes from my attitude, my own perspective of it. Like as a child, like I want attention, you know? Like that's one of the things about me is that I crave relationship and conversation and the craziness, like all of the things. And I want attention, including when I was younger. And because of that, I would like argue with my brothers or I would fight back when, you know, they would say we're going here and not here because I didn't feel like my opinion was heard, like whatever it was. And like I would say like, oh, that's just a child being a child. Like she's just gonna fight back on that. But I think it was because I was just doing that out of response to me not like wanting to be, not letting them like push me out or whatever it was. But really, I think that just came from my attitude. If I would have looked at it in a different way, I wouldn't have felt pushed out. I would have been like, great, I'm going to put someone else above myself. You know, but that perspective just didn't happen as like, you know, a middle schooler or elementary girl. But now I think moments that I feel myself like selfishly, like pulling myself out of the conversation because we're focusing on someone else, I like get to have that different perspective and that attitude of like, okay, well, Jerzi's not the center of everyone. You know what I mean? Like I have a large family and like I don't get to just be in the center. And I redirect it. And sometimes you can tell you just need more attention some days. Like maybe you're more emotional and you need a longer hug than other days. And I think those days I have to communicate those feelings with like the right people. Like I'll tell my dad like, hey, like I know I'm not alone, but today I'm feeling pretty lonely. Yeah. And he'll hug me. Like he won't say anything. He'll just hug me. And I usually cry because I'm a little emotional like that. Yeah. But it's really sweet because you just have to communicate that with the right people. Like what we were saying about relationships in past episodes, like pursuing the right relationships after you've had a pursuing relationship with the Lord, it shows good fruit because it's the second one. And I think that whenever you're feeling moments of loneliness, it's really easy to like go directly to people who are here physically. But after you've already like confided in the Lord and gone to him in those moments, it's a lot easier to like just step into the moment on earth and not feel as alone. Like it just, I don't know what it is. It just is because you've already told someone, you've had that moment with the Lord, like you've read that scripture, you've spoken that truth over yourself, and then you step back into the moment here and you're like, and now, like, I'm going to move on. Like, I'm going to change my attitude, and I'm going to move on to the next thing, and I'm going to focus on other people. Because I promise you, one of your siblings are feeling alone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Your parents are probably feeling alone. Like, that's a real feeling for everyone because we're all human. And I think that's been the coolest part about growing up, has been realizing that, like at one point, my mom was, like, 20. And, like, she's still like a little college girl inside sometimes, or a little girl that she was when she was at home. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just realizing that your parents are still growing up, I think is really fun. And realizing that all of the things that we're talking about in any of these episodes, like, yeah, we're focusing on the teens and young adults for us, but I think it's really real to like step into that and share some of this truth with your parents and your siblings, because they're going through it too.
Yeah. I also want to like clarify that there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Like there is a difference, because like God calls us to be alone and to go into our quiet place and to be with him. And like there's a difference between being lonely and feeling this like emotion of loneliness, as in you have nobody around you, but there's a difference between that and being intentionally by yourself. And because like just if you're in your room doesn't essentially mean that you're lonely. It means that you're spending, you know, if you mean for it to be intentional, of course, like spend time with God in those moments where you do feel lonely, but take time to just be alone with him as well. Like in the loneliness as well. It's like, don't see it as, well, I'm lonely, I don't have like friends and my family like overlooks me. Like you can change the narrative. You can be like, okay, yeah, I am physically alone and I kind of feel this sense of loneliness, but let me put a purpose to it.
Right.
Like this is my time with God now. Every time I feel alone, I feel lonely, now it's my time with God and I'm no longer alone. And so I think seeing it through that lens can almost change the way we look at it entirely. To be able to understand that, you know, there will be moments throughout your entire life that you will feel lonely. But if you're like, but I'm not really lonely, because I have somebody who's always like on the other end of my, hey, God, and he will always listen, always answer. And so I think just remembering that in those moments, and when you feel invisible and when you feel like you're not heard or seen or whatever it might be in your situation, like you are, and you're heard and seen by the greatest thing ever known to man. And so like, I don't know, that personally just brings me so much comfort to think about that, and thinking back on all the situations where I wish I would have known that, especially.
That's good.
So, yeah.
That's so good. Yeah, hey, if you're feeling alone today, literally while you're listening to this, and if you're actually in the car alone or walking alone, well, we're actually right here, not physically, but
verbally,
spiritually and prayerfully. We're right there with you, but ultimately the Lord is with you, and growth happens in those moments. And so just look around and seek out what the Lord's telling you, because there's a lot to learn, and I know there's a lot for me to learn for sure. So we're praying for y'all. We love y'all no matter what. Hey, come back to the next episode. Can't wait to talk to y'all then. But hey, as always, stay strong and courageous.
Bye.